opening theatre waiting to come out.
We filmed in busy maternity departments in Birmingham, Manchester and Cardiff.
6'11", I reckon. It's about 6'11 and a half.
As the midwives deliver the next generation.
The scary bit is you're all going to be midwives.
With care.
Oh, please help me.
We're all right.
And dedication.
My baby's life is in your guys' hands. That's it now.
Not good for the stress levels, this job, at all.
You'll be absolutely fine. I told you, I'll be with you, OK?
It does touch you.
This is the reason we do what we do.
Oh, it's okay.
You smell nice.
It's more than a job. It's you're part of somebody's life and they never forget you.
Yeah.
It's the start of the week on the delivery unit at the University Hospital of Wales in Cardiff. It's the busiest labour ward in Wales, delivering up to 100 babies a week.
Okay, baby, welcome to Cardiff. Oh, it doesn't like that.
Ultimately, our aim is to achieve a vaginal birth for women, keep them nice and healthy, with the end result being a lovely, healthy baby.
But we're a nation struggling to cope with the pain of natural delivery.
OK, don't panic. I know it's sore. It's going to be over soon. It's really hard, but it's going to be over really soon, OK?
An increasing number of women want drugs and anaesthetics to take the pain away.
There are women that come through the door here who have made the decision before labour that they want an epidural.
Like maternity units across the UK, Cardiff has seen epidurals double over the last 20 years.
Nobody wants to feel pain nowadays.
Only a quarter of women having an epidural go on to have a natural, unassisted delivery.
I think epidurals can be seen as the easy option, but it's not always the best option for your labour.
It prolongs labour, and the chances for instrumental delivery is very high.
For the midwives, it's a battle to persuade women to suffer the pains of labour.
I always say to women that this is the only time in your life that pain's a good thing, and you get something at the end of it. You do forget about it, otherwise you wouldn't come back.
Every day, women arrive on the unit believing they're in labour. Midwife Karen Lonsdale has been a senior coordinator for over 10 years. Karen's job is to assess which expectant mothers are actually in labour and those who are not.
The general rule, so I suppose as a midwife, is if you look at somebody and they're flushed, they can't speak through their contractions, they're bent over at the desk, unable to walk. Generally, you would assume that they are in labour. That's not always the case. The only way that you can really tell is by examining women and seeing how dilated the cervix is.
Ruth Leonard is one of the team's most experienced midwives, working alongside Karen for the last 15 years.
Is this fair? Can you just have a quick view?
Maybe I don't know what that was.
She's awaiting the arrival of a young woman who's phoned to say she's in labour.
10 o'clock she's contracting, so she could well have to come in and deliver the baby.
In the middle of the night, Kaylee and her partner Dan have rushed in by taxi.
I am. Hello, Kaylee. I'm Ruth. Pleased to meet you. We're just down this end. Would you like to follow me?
This is the second time in the last 3 days that Kaylee's come in believing she's about to have her baby.
How many false alarms have you had? Just you've been in once, have you? Okay. Let's hope it's real thing this time. Feel good?
Yeah, fingers crossed. I'm not going home without a baby.
Kaylee isn't due for another 2 weeks, but both her previous 2 children came early.
Contractions feel good. We're excited this time, but we won't know for sure until we process things. I think this is labour. The contractions are good, it just feels right, the baby's head is low, but obviously I won't be able to say 100% until I examine her internally and find out how open her cervix is. But I think this is it.
This birth, I'd like it to be like my last one. An hour and 40 minutes or less.
Recently married, this will be Kaylee's first baby with care worker Dan.
We met a year ago on social networking sites. On Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook. Wasn't it?
Facebook and Starbucks.
Yeah.
And now we're here.
I want to cut the cord if I can, if it'll let me. And I'm quite nervous of that, but if it'll let me cut the cord, I'll be ecstatic with that.
Just don't pass out.
Symes is a newly qualified midwife and has been on the delivery unit for less than a year.
Hiya, Leah, is it?
She's been assigned to 20-year-old care assistant Leah and her partner Bobby.
So, this is your second baby? Yeah? So what are you feeling at the moment then? What, you know, you've rang up and you've said that you're feeling contractions and things.
Every 3 to 5 minutes.
If it's okay with you, I'd like to have a little feel of your tummy. If you're not in labour at the moment, then we would probably recommend at this stage that you go back home, okay, and try to relax until things really increase more again, all right? You seem to be coping really, really well, you know.
That makes me think that I'm not in labour then.
No, not necessarily. Everyone copes differently, and I think sometimes on your second baby, third baby, you're more experienced then. So you've had one delivery, you know what the pain's going to feel like, you know what to expect, and so often you can deal with it a little bit better.
Okay.
All right. So if you're not in labour yet, you're sort of making slow progress towards the way. All right. So don't be too disheartened. Some people, I think they tend to worry a little bit. I mean, nobody wants to deliver a baby at home, do they, really? And I think there's a security feeling of being in hospital if that was your planned intention. But women contract very well in their own environment, and then any transfer to hospital or any kind of emotional stress, and those contractions then taper off, and the process of labour actually slows down. So any woman that comes in isn't in labour, then home is certainly the best place for them to be.
Ruth must examine Kaylee to see if she's in established labour.
So obviously, if you're not in labour, then going home, I think. I hope this is it now for you. If you can bend your knees up. Your toes, sorry, I'm standing on his foot. Right, so what I can feel is your waters are still there, baby's head is down. Your cervix is open a little bit, but unfortunately, I don't think you're in established labour. So, if you wanted to go off for a little walk and see what happens for a little bit, if you wanted to go back home, you can.
Yeah, I'll just go for a walk if that's okay.
That's fine, that's fine. Are you disappointed?
No.
Oh.
Leah's mum Maggie has arrived, anticipating the arrival of another grandchild.
Had the assessment, we'll have the indication of what's happening. So exciting.
Keep breathing, Leah. Nice deep breaths. So I'm just going to do a little assessment now, okay, which is just a gentle internal examination. I'll do it between contractions. So I'll just get my bits ready. So established labour is beyond 4 centimetres dilated.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest question. Like, when any woman in labour, they just want to know. Just give me the good news.
Do you want it to be higher number as possible?
I think if I'm 3 or 4, I'll be really happy with that.
You want to be 4?
Yeah.
Can you lift the sheet up for me? So with some cold jelly on my fingers now, all right? So it's a bit of a strange sensation. Try and relax for me, so it makes the examination easier, all right? Okay. You're doing so well. Okay. You're 7 centimetres dilated.
7.
I know, I wasn't sure myself because you seem so calm. I thought, okay, but yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's really good news though.
So that means you're in labour and obviously you're not going to be going home. Do you want to start gas now?
Yes, please.
Yeah?
Just a little. Is that amazing? That was literally...
All on your own. You are just amazing, aren't you?
Oh, don't rub my makeup on.
I thought I was taking her
You
home.
seem so calm and relaxed.
I am ready to go home now.
I bet you haven't been this calm and relaxed at home though, have you?
Flipping out.
I totally didn't expect it to be 7 centimetres. That's amazing. It just goes to show sometimes women can come in and really look so calm and cool. She's 7. So I'm just going to go and tell everyone what's happening and then I'll come back and finish off with it.
Kaylee has spent the last couple of hours doing laps of the hospital in the hope of stimulating labour.
I think she just feels a bit deflated because you think, oh, I'm having pain. I've had pain since 11 o'clock last night and no baby yet. And when she had such a quick delivery with her second baby, I think she just thought she was established in labour when she came in and she's just a bit gutted, really.
3 hours hours later, Kaylee is re-examined.
Fingers crossed. It's more or less the same as when I examined you 3 hours ago. So I think what I'll do is send you down to the ward and I'll take you off the monitor.
Okay.
All right? Right. You're going to come to the ward with me then? I'm taking her down to the ward because she is frightened to go home. Just basically, she knows we're here. She's got a cubicle on her own, and she's got midwives around her.
With Leah's labour progressing, midwife Amy runs through her birth plan. Leah's determined to have a natural delivery with only gas and air for pain relief.
If you feel that the gas doesn't become enough, then the only other available options at the moment would be pethidine, which is the injection in the leg.
Yeah.
And then progressing from that would be an epidural, which is the spinal in your back that makes you numb from the tummy down. So if you feel that the gas and air is not enough for you at any point, then let me know and we can talk about other options.
Leah's tag team of support has been boosted by the arrival of her sisters, Athena and Sarah.
How are you doing on there then?
Me and my other sisters didn't look like this.
How many kids have you got?
I've got one, my other sister's got 2. We didn't look like this.
Yesterday, last night I did my fake tan because I was like, it could be any minute. Obviously, I'm overdue. And then this morning I just plastered my makeup on. I said, as long as I can do my makeup, I don't care. I think a woman should be presentable.
Hello.
Hello.
Leah must continue with a new midwife.
Just having a contraction a minute.
Amy's shift is ending and she hands over to Cara.
Declined any other analgesia. She's only using Entonox intermittently, not with every contraction. You're going to come right in now and feel my lovely delivery.
Stay, what?
No, it's all right. Oh. Best of luck, guys. Both of you, all right? Okay.
Bye, Amy. Bye.
Cara is also newly qualified, starting on this unit just 7 months ago.
You're doing fab. Doing really well. Well done.
But just 10 minutes into Cara's shift, Leah wants to change her birth plan.
You're doing fab.
I have an epidural.
Do you want an epidural?
Surely. Sure?
Yeah, I think I need one.
Why is that?
So painful.
Sometimes, when you're coming up to being fully dilated, you get this feeling of, oh, I can't do this anymore. And you just lose it. And you think, oh, I need more pain relief, or I don't want to do it anymore, and you start to feel like you're giving up. But then, shortly after that, we call that a transitional phase.
Where she's reaching now.
And then just shortly after that, all of a sudden, ladies just start pushing.
Come on, breathe, Lee. Please, breathe. Come on, breathe, Lee. Come
You can do it. You have been doing it, and you are doing it.
I want an epidural.
Okay. What I'm going to do, you're doing absolutely fab. What I need to do, is just going to pop out, press that if you need me, and I'll just be outside having a quick chat. Okay? My lady is now requesting an epidural.
Okay. Has she been examined again?
No, I was going to say, should I just examine her again?
Examine her again and see what she's doing, and then we'll have a little chat with her and decide about what we're going to do. Okay.
Baby's head is so close to delivering and it is nice and low, so that the overwhelming urge to push is going to be there. If you start an epidural, that urge isn't always there. In fact, in my experience, more often than not, it's not there. It does increase your chances of having an assisted delivery because she won't have the urge to push and she won't be doing what her body's naturally telling her to do. You've got to sort of feel out whether that is actually what she had in mind for herself, because you don't want somebody saying something in the heat of the moment and then you going ahead with something and then it not actually being what they wanted, and for them to feel disappointed afterwards. And if you're responsible for that, it's not a nice feeling.
Because initially she said she didn't want to have to, have an epidural if she didn't think she needed it. I think she would almost kick herself if she had an epidural.
Well, I've just spoken to my...
It's frustrating.
Are you okay if I just explain to you? It might be a good idea for us to actually just re-examine first, just to see where we're at. Yeah. Because you might feel completely different when you know there's a bit of a light at the end of the tunnel. Right, I'm just going to bring this sheet back a little bit and just have a little look, okay, hon? Sorry, sweetie, I know it's not very nice. Just have a good feel around baby's head. I can't feel any cervix there at all, and your waters have just gone. Okay? Okay. So I think you're well on your way. Leah, don't be frightened of it. If you need to push, you just go with it.
Leah sets about pushing without an epidural.
Just go with it, you're doing fab.
the epidural.
Well, you're pushing now, and by the time we get anaesthetist down here, you'll probably deliver this baby. Don't be frightened. You can. Leah, you can. Just go with what your body's telling you to do. I know you are. But this is the final bit, yeah, you haven't got long to go at all.
But after 40 minutes, there's still no sign of the baby's head.
I just need to keep the doctors informed just so they know. Obviously, if you're getting exhausted as well, your pushing isn't going to be as good. She started pushing.
So you started pushing at 8:15. Okay, so she's been pushing about 45 minutes now, is it? Okay, so...
Hi Lee, doing really well out here. Just gonna have a little look and see where this baby's head is, okay, with the next pain, if that's okay with you. Yeah, you got a pain there. Big push down, if you got a pain there. Big push. Come on, really big push. Excellent, well done. Keep pushing, and again, another push down. That's Lee, we're just gonna change your position. Okay, sometimes when we change your position, it just sort of helps the baby's head move, and hopefully it'll come down a little bit more because you've been pushing for quite a while now, okay? And just roll over towards me.
That's it. Right over.
That's it. Well
there we are.
That's it. Big push down.
Big push.
That's it. That's it. This leg up
Well
here.
done.
That's it. Big push.
Big push.
That's
Well
it.
done.
Fantastic.
Excellent. Well done. Big push
nice
down.
long pushes, Lee.
Well done.
That's it. Come just pop over there. That's it. That's it. Well done, Lee. You're doing really well.
You're doing fab. Just go with it. Well done.
That's it.
That's it.
Just push now. Come out looking up at us, this baby.
Who was looking at?
Yeah.
Well done.
The reason for the difficult birth is now clear. The baby is positioned back to back, which is much more difficult for the mother to push out.
Looking up at his mum.
The next pain, big push, and over here.
That's it. Here we are, Lee. Look down, that's it.
There he is.
Here we are.
There he is.
Lovely. Congratulations.
Ooh. Well done.
We just have a little look.
Have a little look at him. Then Dad's going to cut the cord as well. Check it's a boy. Hello. Right, Dad, we're going to cut between the yellow bit. Sorry, honey.
Look at you. There you are.
Amazing. Hello. Sorry, honey. Yes. You're an absolute star. Pushing a baby out, facing her, is hard work. Really hard work. So that's why it just took that little bit extra time.
Yeah, I remember.
Great.
It was so amazing.
Absolutely amazing.
There we are, little man. Oh, he doesn't like that. 4 kilos, £8.13. Oh, he wants to give you a kiss. He's all pouting, ready. Mwah. Oh, isn't he lovely? Is that your baby brother?
The first boy, we haven't got boys in the family, so. And that's enough now. No more. We don't need more now, do we? Boy and a girl. I just don't want to do that again.
I was just really pleased because she got the delivery that she deserved and that she wanted. She had a normal vaginal delivery. So had she had the epidural, who knows whether she would have been able to have the vaginal delivery that she had. To be part of making that possible for her is kind of what the job's about, really, isn't it?
Next day, Kaylee is being monitored on the ward, but her contractions seem to have subsided.
It frustrates me more than anything, because it keeps starting and stopping. That's what's so frustrating. She's just not moving.
Something to have my big daughter on my hands by now. But no. Thank you very much.
Later that morning, it's decided Kaylee's labour isn't progressing and she's sent home.
Thank you. Take care.
Neonatal units have got 1 crash space, room for...
Every day, the coordinators assess the current cases on the ward and assign one of their midwives to each. Making decisions about the kind of support and level of pain relief each expectant mother needs.
Pain is individual to everybody. You know, there are some people that can cope very well with pain. It's a different thing for every person.
Women regarded as low risk can go to a midwifery-led room to have a birth without anaesthetics or medical intervention. For these women, the popular way to alleviate pain is with a birthing pool and soothing music.
Chill out moves.
Midwife Sian Jones has just been assigned to Emma and her husband Bill.
Emma's arrived, it's her second baby. She actually had her last baby in the exact same room 3 years ago, which was a nice normal delivery in the pool, and she's hoping to have the same this time. It helps them relax and it keeps them mobile as well. It's not always good for women to be flat on their backs during labour, so it's good for them to sort of be a bit more mobile around the pool. And water's good for pain relief as well.
Is that right?
Yeah, it is really chilled out actually. We had a really nice experience in your last time, didn't we?
Do you both do the same job?
We're both lawyers, but we do quite different
sorts of
Is that how you met, through work?
We met at uni, yeah.
Sian usually works upstairs on the high-risk delivery unit.
Do you prefer working down here or upstairs?
I prefer working upstairs.
Do you?
Yeah.
It's quite different down here, isn't it? It's different life.
It's completely different. Yeah. I quite like the excitement of being upstairs, really. Not that it's not exciting here, it's lovely.
Oh no, we're not here for excitement.
You're not here for excitement,
No, exactly. No.
Outside the main delivery unit, there's a new arrival. Tara has come in 3 days before her due date, accompanied by her mother Anne-Marie and her partner Brian. She's experiencing severe contractions and immediately assigned to midwife Laura Terry.
Okay. I'm gonna find baby again.
This will be Tara's second child, the first being a low-risk birth in a pool.
That's it, really focus on your breathing now.
But this time round, she's being monitored more closely.
Well done, Tara. So a lot of mums put on weight with each pregnancy, so therefore, because they're more high risk, they need to be under the care of the doctors and the midwives, because the risks are greater for both mums and the babies.
You do have more intervention. You've got less likelihood of delivering vaginally and more naturally, and you've got a higher risk of needing caesarean section or medical intervention.
Oh, that's it, don't panic. Okay, darling, so just a little bit of touching, all right? So relax your bum down for me. That's it, well done. Just focus on your breathing.
Before midwife Laura can proceed with the birth plan, she needs to confirm that Tara is in labour.
Is that a contraction or is it me?
No,
Me. You are 5 centimetres.
Sure. Oh,
well done. Yeah. You can have some pain relief. There we go. You have to hold on to it for me. That's it. Keep it in your mouth all the way through.
To relieve the pain, Tara had been hoping she could use the birthing pool.
Did you have a water birth last time, Anne? Yeah. So ideally Tara did want a water birth, but we won't be able to do this because she needs continuous monitoring, and that's quite difficult in the water, and it is quite hard then for mums who've had a previous water birth to accept this. Hello.
Tara has asked for confirmation that she can't use the pool.
No. Sorry, darling. Sorry, darling. Okay. Right, if it's okay with you, can I put a little clip on baby's head and I'll monitor on her head rather than on your tummy, purely because I'm getting lots of loss of contact on the monitoring, so I can't quite see what she's doing.
Okay, yeah.
Is that all right?
It's best you do it.
Perfect, thank you.
We do have problems sometimes with monitoring those babies' heartbeats through the abdomen, so we do tend to move more towards putting a fetal scalp electrode on the baby's head to get a direct contact.
But if Laura's going to apply the scalp monitor, she's going to have to be quick.
Well done.
I need to push anything?
Okay,
Tara should only push once her cervix is fully dilated at 10 centimetres.
That's it, use the gas. Can I have a little look, Tara, okay? Just gonna have a little peek, okay?
Use a gas.
Keep breathing, hun. Well done. Keep still a minute, hun. Can we just stop? Okay. Tara, do you want to stay in the bed, hun? Sorry, you're about 7 to 8 centimetres. Okay, so you're progressing really, really quickly, so try not to push. That's it, use that gas.
Emma has also progressed to 6 centimetres dilated. But she's now so relaxed her contractions have nearly vanished, so midwife Sian has moved her out of the pool.
If you want to get back in at any point, that's fine. Just say, okay? She's very calm, and you'd never think she was 6 centimetres in labour, so I think she's going to be someone who takes us by surprise and when we're not looking.
With Tara in so much pain, Laura can't attach the monitor and doesn't know if the baby is getting distressed.
Give a push then, Han. You're making my job quite easy here. I'm not doing a lot, am I? I might get some more towels. You get used to being upstairs and women being on the continuous monitoring, and you sort of rely on that, and then down here you don't do that. And you sort of, sometimes you feel you're not doing something that you should be doing, but you realise you don't need to do it down here because it's a lot more low risk.
Okay, I know. So really focus on your breathing, hun. Right, use that gas. I'm just going to buzz for the coordinator to come in, just to give me a little hand popping that clip on if that's all right with you, hun, all right? Right, keep breathing that gas. Just give me 2 seconds. Just going to get someone to give me a little hand, all right? Just keep using that gas. Hand, will you ask? Could you get someone to give me a hand in here? Yeah. That's it. Use the gas. Use the gas. Hello? Yeah, just please. Suck on that gas. Go on, really.
Well done. When I entered the room, Tara was starting to lose the plot. It's a lot of the time, it's the fear of pain and the loss of control. Some women do panic when they get to the second stage of their labour, that they're not going to be able to cope and they're not going to be able to deliver their babies.
Breathe on that gas, nice and slow, well done.
And as midwives, it's your job to help calm them down and reassure them that it's all going to be over soon and everything's going to be fine.
Tara, you listen? You hear me? We need to pop a clip on your baby's head, lovely, because we just can't monitor your baby. We need to know what baby's doing and if baby's happy. Is that okay? Just means an internal examination again.
Might well be fully.
Just really suck on that gas, lovely. Tara, we can see the baby's head. Just breathe a minute, Tara. Just suck on the gas. Don't need to do anything else. That's it, lovely. Look at this baby. Come on. Tara, just suck on that gas. That's all we need you to do. Come on, lovely. It's hurting like mad to the baby here. It'll be over within a minute. Just breathe, Tara. Just breathe. Don't panic. I know it's sore. It's going to be over soon. It's really hard, but it's going to be over really soon, okay? Tara, all you need to do is you need to breathe on that gas. Your body's doing it, okay? And don't panic. It's going to be over soon.
Tara, open up your legs to me, hun.
Tara, listen. Open your eyes and look at me. Slow, deep breaths. Slow your breathing.
Well done. Bring your leg up.
Slow your breathing.
That's it. That's baby's head. That's baby's head.
Come on.
That's it, darling. Give me a little push.
Good girl.
Tara.
Listen to me. Stop panicking. I'm so sorry. Just breathe on your gas, darling. You're doing really well. But stop panicking and breathe on the gas and listen.
All right, darling. Baby's head's out now. For the next contraction, baby's body will be out, okay? That's it. Big push for me.
That's it, Tara. Tara, open your eyes. Tara, open your eyes.
Hello.
Tara.
Tara, I did a baby.
Well done, darling. All right, darling. It's fine.
Well done.
Congratulations. Okay. Oh, she's not impressed.
Sorry.
She's not impressed.
Who's going to cut the cord? Dad, yeah?
Come on, Dad.
There you go.
You cut between those two. Yeah, it's like cutting. Could I go on? Can we get your placenta out first? Oh, no, I don't like that bit. Oh, but we can't keep it in. Pop her up there. Say hi, Mum.
Bit quick, wasn't it? So way to do it. You haven't been in here an hour. Should we weigh it quickly?
It's actually 6:11, I reckon. Oh. Well, 3050.
It's about 6'11 and a half.
Oh! Did you?
6'11. Do I get a prize?
Yeah, you do.
Do I get a keeper?
I can't believe you guessed the weight.
Well done, congratulations. All right then, bye.
Thank you. When I work in a pub, and we were going to set up a thing with all the customers and ask everyone how much they thought she'd be weighing, see how much we'd raise for whoever won, they could have won the money. Who was the closest then? Did anyone say £6.11? I said £10. But I thought she was going to be absolutely massive.
Well done. That was easy, wasn't it?
After nearly 3 hours in established labour, Emma is ready to push.
So go with it now, okay? If your body's telling you, do you feel that urge to push all the way through a contraction? Just when it's at its most painful. Okay, hold on for a minute. That urge to push there now? Yeah. Just shuffle forward a little bit, Emma, for me. Sorry, just so I can see a bit better. Well done, Emma.
Senior midwife Sarah Spencer has come in for the final stages.
Just breathe a minute now. Just blow it out a sec. I think we're seeing some baby's head in a minute. Traction coming there. Go on then, a nice big push.
With the head underwater, the midwives are struggling to see what's happening.
Well, fab. That's it. And just breathe now, Emma. That's it.
The baby's head is almost out, but the shoulders may be stuck.
We try stand up a minute. Em, do you want to stand up? We stand you up for a sec. Yes, you can. Come on, just stand. Stand up. No, that's it. Yeah, baby's fine. Let's stand you right up there. Right up. Big push at the bottom for me. That's it. Well done. There we go. We're going to pass baby through. There we are, man. There we go. Then back into the water. How's he finding you coughing? Hello. What have you got then? Is it definitely a boy? Have a look. It's definitely a boy. Oh. He's a big boy. Has he got a name? What do you say when you look at him? Gryff. Aww. Look at you. He looks a nice size. You just cut in between them.
10 minutes old, baby Gryff has a surprise in store.
There we go. Fab.
Oh, it's a little girl. Look at the belly button.
It's a girl. Not Gryff,
Oh, there we are.
Oh, I'm so sorry, little lady. Oh, how bad are we? Oh, no wonder you're not very happy with us.
Have you got a name ready for a girl? Nice. That was funny. Well, it was Emma's fault, really, because she thought she saw boy parts. And about 10 minutes later, when we cut the cord, we realised that there were no boy parts, it was a girl. So, she's not going to be Gryff. Is she?
She is 4.08 kilograms, which is £9 exactly.
£9.
She did brilliantly.
No gas. Yeah, no gas in it. No, nothing.
It's 4 o'clock in the morning, and midwife Amy has been told that Kaylee is on her way back to the delivery unit for the 3rd time, just over a week since her last visit.
She's coming in by ambulance because they were querying whether she might actually deliver at home. She's been in several times throughout this pregnancy, querying whether she's in labour or not, and she's been sent home each time, so hopefully she'll make it in time really for this delivery now, if this is the real thing. Hello. Hello. Hi, Amy. Come on through. Hi. I'll show you where we're going. We're going left, guys, please. We're going to room 9, which is the last one on your right, guys. Thank you very much. Okay. Come on in. All right? Do you want to have a sit down for me and you can give me a bit of a story about what's been happening? Bye. All right? So has it got worse towards now? Is that why you've come in out, yeah? In what ways it got worse?
More pain.
They're just stronger, are they?
Stronger.
Okay. Let's pop you on the monitor then, all right? All right. So I'm just going to leave you on this now for about 15-20 minutes and then we'll look at examining you, all right? I've got some concern about the fact that she's a frequent readmission because that shows that she's obviously A, been having pain for quite a long time so she's tired, and B, that she's maybe not going to cope very well with the labour. I think lots of women are anxious about going into labour. However, I do think that Kaylee's been exceptionally anxious.
Kaylee also has to worry about a lifelong condition, one that severely limits the pain relief she can have.
Kaylee's got a neurological condition, which means that she can't have any analgesia in the spine. So in some scenarios, women choose to have an epidural. Kaylee can't actually have that because of the condition that she has.
It's called a Chiari malformation. It's the lower part of your brain sits lower down in your spinal cord. And they limit your time of pushing, and they limit you with an epidural and things like that.
An epidural would reduce the pressure in the spinal column, drawing the brain down into the spine, which could be fatal.
It's only me, Kaylee. All right? Just try and relax for me, okay? Okay. Probably still the same, more or less, as what they told you last time, all right? About 3 centimetres dilated, all right? But at the moment, it's not really showing that you're in labour. All right? I'm really sorry. You must be so tired, bless you. All right.
I give up.
No, same as previous findings.
So she came by ambulance, she's had
That's the thing, isn't it? Yeah.
so it's
As it's the middle of the night, it's decided Kaylee can stay until the morning.
She seems awful disappointed.
Yeah,
bless her.
I can imagine.
All right, brilliant. Okay, I'll let her know. Thanks,
Lovely,
Lily.
thanks.
It's only me, Kaylee. I've spoken to the midwife in charge, okay? We'll probably keep you in, for a while, possibly till the morning, and then the doctors will review you in the morning. All right? Are you happy with that plan? Dan, happy with that?
Yeah.
Yeah? It's a tricky one, isn't it? Let's find the light switch.
Later that morning, Kaylee is again sent home. It's nearly the end of Amy's shift when she's assigned to a mum already in established labour. Chelsea is 21 and a full-time mum, expecting her third child with gardener Sean. She's been transferred from low to high-risk care, as it's been over 24 hours since her waters broke.
That's a big one. Oh, sorry, I thought it was Sean's hand.
Hi, you can squeeze my hand.
Sorry.
It's okay. You all right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Big one.
Big one.
Chelsea's last birth was an unpleasant experience.
Body last time just shut down. I couldn't push the placenta out.
Okay. So, obviously, because you've had a retained placenta before, I don't know whether anyone's told you, but that means that it may happen again.
Yeah.
Okay, you do know that, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Did it happen the first time? No, just the second.
Yeah.
You're neat.
This is the biggest I've ever been. I've never been this big.
Do you know what you're having?
Another little girl.
What have you got at home?
Two
Two
little
girls. It'll be lovely. The day staff will be coming on shortly, next 10 minutes or so. All right, and then I'll leave you to them. You'll probably have a baby about half hour after I go.
Oh, I know, probably. Just my luck.
I told you we'd have made the 5th baby, didn't we?
Ah, all right.
Chelsea's sister, Carrie Ann, has arrived to lend support.
Our second was really quick. They even missed it. She was so quick. They induced me in the morning. Nothing happened all day, all night. So we sent him home. And then as soon as I sent him home, I had her. literally in a matter of seconds, so he's been hanging around the hospital all night. Making sure I don't miss this one.
Hello. Hi.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Tatiana. I'm going to look after you.
Hiya.
Okay. How are you?
Okay.
Okay. Is Gastonea working for you at the moment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Taking over from Amy's shift is Tatiana. Ukrainian-born, she has nearly 10 years' experience as a midwife in Cardiff. But Chelsea seems to have her doubts.
Getting that ready already?
Well, I'm going to check it anyway because I don't know when baby's going to come exactly, so I want all the equipment to be ready.
You got excited then, didn't you, Chal?
Okay. I'm going to leave you with Tatiana, okay? She's going to come back in a minute. That's all right? She's lovely. It's just because you know me now, but you'll know her now soon. Tatiana.
Okay.
You'll be great.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. I'm so disappointed not to be able to see this birth all the way through. I've built a really good relationship with Chelsea very quickly, and she's quite anxious about somebody else taking over her care.
That was a big one, yeah?
Okay. It's often really difficult as a midwife to make that bond really very quickly with someone, and I think it's difficult for the woman to emotionally let go of one midwife and then attach herself to another.
I'm just going to get ready, just in case. She had quick delivery before, and I do expect her to deliver quickly this time as well. Positive thinking, it's going to be absolutely fine. It's up to me to make this change in the room, to make this atmosphere comfortable for them. I mean, I'm a stranger. You need to establish this relationship with women and make sure they trust you. Chelsea, try to take Gastonea only when you have a contraction, okay? If you're comfortable in between, just close your eyes and rest, okay? That's it. In and out with the Gastonea. It's going to go in a second, okay? The contraction is easing off now. Good.
You've got such a calming voice.
Who, me?
Yeah, it's really calming when you talk.
Wow, that's the last thing you want, somebody to scream at you in labor, isn't it? We're getting ready slowly, slowly. Well done. Your muscles are getting ready, they're stretching slowly, slowly, because she's descending, as we say. She's coming lower and lower and lower, okay? I do believe that pain is a state of mind, and fear can cause anxiety, and anxiety can cause pain. So if we will break this chain, that is going to make huge difference on the outcome of the childbirth. Just listen to your body and go with it, okay? Our body is perfectly designed to achieve this natural and calm and beautiful birth. And your body produces these natural painkillers, endorphins. They're the strongest than whatever I can offer here, okay? I'm trying to make them realize that it can be comfortable, and it usually works. Sometimes you can see them like they're dipping really, and they go within themselves and just keep really, really quiet. And I call it silence before storm. And sometimes they feel like they're losing the world. Everything is, you know, just too much. She's doing well. Now, listen your body and go with it. If you feel you want to push, just go with it. At some point, I'll tell you not to, okay?
It's really hurting.
It's up to you now, Charles.
I am trying. She's not going to come out, you don't understand. It's really hurting me, Kev.
Sweetie, keep going with Gastonea. Keep going with Gastonea.
With birth imminent, Tatiana has her own special pain relief technique.
So I'm going to put some warm gauze on your labia. Is it okay? Is it nice and... Okay, I don't want it to be too hot, but this is going to relax the muscles down below. And is it okay?
It's so nice.
It's so nice. Okay, I know it feels nice. I do that because it helps a lot. This warmth on the area helps the muscles to relax and contract. Sean, can you just ask her to turn towards you? Towards you. You can. Come on. You can. That's it, my darling. With next contraction, just open up and pull your thigh towards your chest. That's it. In this position, she will be born quickly and easier, okay? Well, this is the silence before storm, I'm telling you. Yeah, she's like getting her strength back, yeah?
Come on, sweetheart, you can do it. Not much longer now. I know.
She's there. Chelsea, next contractions, she will be out, okay? Okay, come on. Gentle, nice and steady push. Okay, the head is out, okay? The worst is behind, okay? Her head is delivered. With next contraction, we will deliver her body, okay, darling?
Oh my God.
Okay.
Can you open your eyes, Chelsea?
Don't panic, sure, she's alive.
Chelsea, next contraction. Come on, darling.
Ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
Come on, darling.
Again, Chelsea, she's there now.
Come on, Chelsea.
Chelsea, she's out today, so.
Come on, darling.
Right, that's it. Go.
She's coming with her
All
arms.
you've got.
Okay.
Oh,
Give me a towel. Okay.
Oh my God.
Okay, baby, welcome to Cardiff.
You've done it, babe.
She's gorgeous. Look at her, Sean.
Oh
Look
my
at
God,
her.
she's a spitting
That's
image
it.
of Leah, child.
That's perfect.
Turn up to mummy. Oh my God.
Come on, baby. Give her a cuddle.
That's
Give
it.
her a cuddle. And get a clean towel.
You've done it.
Hello, beautiful.
Okay. Are you ready to cut this cord? Okay, in between my fingers and the clamp. Yeah? Straight there.
Oh.
What? What? Oh dear.
Well, I've had 5 and I don't think I've had any of that sort of treatment.
Well,
so
come again.
Yeah, no.
The baby has been delivered, but it's not over for Chelsea.
Let's see if this placenta is ready. Do you feel like to push something out?
Yeah.
You do. Okay.
The last birth, it got stuck. So she has to be rushed to theatre, so we're hoping we don't have to repeat.
Placenta is coming, okay?
Oh, well done, child.
No complications. Okay, just push it gently for me. It's ready to come.
Slowly, love.
Okay. Well done.
Well done, child.
Good girl.
It's done.
Right on my side, beautiful.
Chelsea delivered her baby by herself, and she was wonderful. It was very quick. She listened to what I was saying. She was so relaxed. I think it was stress-free birth. They want their lovely ones around, and they were a very good team. They think that you know everything, but to be honest, every day I know that I know nothing. I learn every day here, so yeah. But this time I was pretty close.
I think the midwife was wonderful. She really, really looked after Chelsea and made sure she was nice and relaxed and wasn't worrying. And not only that, she made sure Sean was fine as well, which I think is a big issue for fathers if they don't know what's coming next, sort of thing.
I can't wait till we leave her and give her a nice big kiss and a cuddle and say thank you. She was wicked.
Right. Okay.
Chelsea and baby Lydia spend a night on the ward and are allowed to go home the next day. A few nights later, Amy is back on shift and joined by one of the unit's familiar faces. Kaylee has rushed in for the 4th time, feeling she's having frequent contractions.
Kaylee's come in to us this evening. She's been admitted several times over the last few weeks querying labour, and this time actually Kaylee is established in labour. Alright, Kaylee, you'll have to get on the bed, my darling. We don't need to deliver on the floor, do we? So how are you feeling when you've got those contractions now, Kaylee? Pressure in your bottom still? Okay. You've got urges to push there now, have you? Don't push at the moment, Kaylee, because I just want to make sure that you're definitely fully dilated first, okay? 7 centimetres already, well done.
Because she has a neurological condition, Kaylee can't have an epidural, so must rely only on gas and air for pain relief.
No.
And once fully dilated, she will only be allowed to push for a maximum of 30 minutes, half the usual allowed time.
Katie, don't push at the moment, all right? Because you're not fully dilated yet. Kaylee's pushing uncontrollably at the moment, so I'm just going to do another examination, really, because she shouldn't push if she's not fully dilated. The baby's heart rate is dropping slightly, which sometimes happens when they're pushing. So I just want to see what's happening, really. Kaylee, I'm just going to examine you a second, okay? Okay, Kaylee, are you fully dilated? Kaylee, can you look at me? Okay, you're fully dilated, right? You've progressed really quickly, and the baby's head is just sitting there now, all right? But what I want you to do now is try and stay in control as much as possible. I only want you to push when you've got pain. Kaylee, there's going to come a time when I'm going to ask you to stop pushing, okay, and to pant. And it's important that you try to listen to me as much as possible, okay?
Allowed to push, Kaylee knows that if she doesn't have the baby in the next 30 minutes, she will have to have a C-section under general anaesthetic.
Caring for somebody in Kaylee's scenario does ultimately make me feel slightly under pressure, because I think when women become really distressed, naturally, I feel distressed as well. Kaylee, just give us a second. Kaylee, just breathe gently. Good girl. Kaylee, is the pain gone? The contraction, not the pain down below. Okay. If the pain's there, Kaylee, you've got to give me a big push into your bottom. Okay, Kaylee, pant. Kaylee, pant. Little tiny push. And pant, Kaylee. Good girl. That's it. Okay, little push. Pant, Kaylee. Okay, baby's head's out now, Kaylee, okay?
Well done.
Congratulations.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
You're a bit shocked, aren't you?
She okay? Yeah?
She's fine. She's just a little bit shocked.
But she's okay. Yeah?
Hello. It's happened very quickly, so I haven't given symptometry or anything yet. Sorry. Thank you. She's beautiful, okay? Dan, do you want to cut the cord?
If I could.
She is quite a big baby, Kaylee. Just between the two clamps. Let's lift her up onto you, Kaylee. Let me just get a clean towel.
Oh, thank God it's over.
I think Kaylee deserved a quick labour after all her recent admissions and everything.
I thought I was going to be sent home again with a baby.
You did fantastic.
3.58 kilograms. She's 740.
Have we got a name for this baby?
Lily Rose.
Her full name is Lily Rose Sian Blue Jay James.
Ah, it's a long one. Normally when I have a delivery, I try to keep it as calm and relaxed as possible for the women. But sometimes, especially when labours progress really quickly though, Kaylee, it just, all that can go out the window sometimes. In Kaylee's case, she was just in so much pain. She just pushed sort of continuously, really. So a little bit of a crazy environment, but, you know, we got a brilliant outcome and a beautiful baby, so it's all well in the end.
The last few weeks have been quite stressful for us both. With pressure on family life at home, with tiredness and everything. But yeah, really stressful, but I'm glad it's all over now. No more stress.
I'm really pleased that after Kaylee came in so many times, that when she finally came in to give birth, it was me that was there to deliver her baby. Oh, it's bright out here, isn't it?
Tomorrow, Dan and Kaylee will be allowed to go home. This time with a baby.
What a lovely thing to end your day on. It's just lovely, isn't it?
Right.
Thank you. Thanks.
Bye. Bye. All the best.
Bye.
Bye.
Next week, Midwives is moving, so don't miss it. We'll be back on the labour ward on Monday at 9. Now, a huge welcome back to Jules Holland.
We have a lady on the table in theatre waiting to come out.
We filmed in busy maternity departments in Birmingham, Manchester and Cardiff.
6'11", I reckon. It's about 6'11 and a half.
As the midwives deliver the next generation
The scary bit is you're all going to be midwives.
with care
Oh, please help me. Alright.
and dedication.
My baby's life is in your guys' hands. That's it now.
Not good for the stress levels, this job, at all.
You'll be absolutely fine. I told you, I'll be with you, okay?
It does touch you.
This is the reason we do what we do.
Oh, okay.
You smell nice.
It's more than a job. It's you're part of somebody's life and they never forget you.
It's the start of the week on the delivery unit at the University Hospital of Wales in Cardiff. It's the busiest labour ward in Wales, delivering up to 100 babies a week.
Okay, baby, welcome to Cardiff. Oh, it doesn't like that. Ultimately, our aim is to achieve a vaginal birth for women, keep them nice and healthy with the end result being a lovely, healthy baby.
But we're a nation struggling to cope with the pain of natural delivery.
Okay, don't panic. I know it's sore. It's going to be over soon. It's really hard, but it's going to be over really soon, okay?
An increasing number of women want drugs and anaesthetics to take the pain away.
There are women that come through the door here who have made the decision before labour that they want an epidural.
Like maternity units across the UK, Cardiff has seen epidurals double over the last 20 years.
Nobody wants to feel pain nowadays.
Only a quarter of women having an epidural go on to have a natural, unassisted delivery.
I think epidurals can be seen as the easy option, but it's not always the best option for your labour.
It prolongs labour, and the chances for instrumental delivery is very high.
For the midwives, it's a battle to persuade women to suffer the pains of labour.
I always say to women that this is the only time in your life that pain's a good thing, and you get something at the end of it. You do forget about it, otherwise you wouldn't come back.
Every day, women arrive on the unit believing they're in labour. Midwife Karen Lonsdale has been a senior coordinator for over 10 years. Karen's job is to assess which expectant mothers are actually in labour and those who are not.
The general rule, so I suppose as a midwife, is if you look at somebody and they're flushed, they can't speak through their contractions, they're bent over at the desk, unable to walk. Generally, you would assume that they are in labour. That's not always the case. The only way that you can really tell is by examining women and seeing how dilated the cervix is.
Ruth Leonard is one of the team's most experienced midwives, working alongside Karen for the last 15 years.
Is this her? Can you just have a quick look?
There we are. I don't know what that was.
She's awaiting the arrival of a young woman who's phoned to say she's in labour.
10 o'clock she's contracting, so she could well have to come in and deliver the baby.
In the middle of the night, Kaylee and her partner Dan have rushed in by taxi.
I am. Hello, Kaylee. I'm Ruth. Pleased to meet you. We're just down this end. Would you like to follow me?
This is the second time in the last 3 days that Kaylee's come in believing she's about to have her baby.
How many false alarms have you had? Just you've been in once, have you? Okay. Okay. Let's hope it's a real thing this time. Feel good.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I'm not going home without a baby.
Kaylee isn't due for another 2 weeks, but both her previous 2 children came early.
Contractions feel good. We're excited to be fine, but we won't know for sure until we process things and see what's happening. I think this is labour. The contractions are good, it just feels right, the baby's head is low, but obviously I won't be able to say 100% until I examine her internally and find out how open her cervix is. But I think this is it.
This birth, I'd like it to be like my last one. An hour and 40 minutes or less.
Recently married, this will be Kaylee's first baby with care worker Dan.
We met a year ago on social networking sites. On Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook, wasn't it?
Facebook and Starbucks.
Yeah.
And now we're here.
I want to cut the cord, if I can, if it let me. and I'm quite nervous on that, but if they let me cut the cord, I'll be ecstatic with that.
Just don't pass out.
Amy Symes is a newly qualified midwife and has been on the delivery unit for less than a year.
Hiya, Leah, is it?
She's been assigned to 20-year-old care assistant Leah and her partner Bobby.
So, this is your second baby? Yeah? So what are you feeling at the moment then? What, you know, you've rang up and you've said that you're feeling contractions and things.
Every 3 to 5 minutes.
If it's okay with you, I'd like to have a little feel of your tummy. If you're not in labour at the moment, then we would probably recommend at this stage that you go back home, okay, and try to relax until things really increase more again, all right? You seem to be coping really, really well, you know.
That makes me think that I'm not in labour then.
No, not necessarily. Everyone copes differently, and I think sometimes on your second baby, third baby, you're more experienced then. So you've had one delivery, you know what the pain's going to feel like, you know what to expect, and so often you can deal with it a little bit better. Okay. All right. So if you're not in labour yet, you're sort of making slow progress towards the way. All right. So don't be too disheartened. Some people, I think they tend to worry a little bit. I mean, nobody wants to deliver a baby at home, do they? Really. And I think there's a security feeling of being in hospital if that was your planned intention. But women contract very well in their own environment, and then any transfer to hospital or any kind of emotional stress, and those contractions then taper off, and the process of labour actually slows down. So any woman that comes in isn't in labour, then home is certainly the best place for them to be.
Ruth must examine Kaylee to see if she's in established labour.
So obviously, if you're not in labour, then going home, I think.
I hope this is it now for you.
If you can bend your knees up.
Sorry, I'm standing on his foot. Right, so what I can feel is your waters are still there, baby's head is down. Your cervix is open a little bit, but unfortunately, I don't think you're in established labour. So, if you wanted to go off for a little walk and see what happens for a little bit, if you wanted to go back home, you can.
I'll just go for a walk, if that's okay.
That's fine, that's fine. Are you disappointed?
No.
Oh.
Leah's mum Maggie has arrived, anticipating the arrival of another grandchild.
I had the assessment and we'll have the indication of what's happening. It's all exciting.
Keep breathing, Leah. Nice deep breaths. So I'm just going to do a little assessment now, okay, which is just a gentle internal examination. I'll do it between contractions. So I'll just get my bits ready. So established labour is beyond 4 centimetres dilated.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest question that when any woman in labour, they just want to know. Just give me the good news.
Do you want it to be higher number as possible?
I think if I'm 3 or 4, I'll be really happy with that.
You want to be 4?
Yeah.
Can you lift the sheet up for me? So with some cold jelly on my fingers now, all right? So it's a bit of a strange sensation. Try and relax for me, so it makes the examination easier, all right? Okay. You're doing so well. Okay. You're 7 centimetres dilated.
7?
I know, I wasn't sure myself because you seem so calm. I thought, okay, but yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's really good news though.
So that means you're in labour and obviously you're not going to be going home. Do you want to start gas now?
Yes, please.
Yeah?
Just a little. Is that amazing? That was literally...
All on your own. You are just amazing, aren't you?
Oh, don't rub my makeup off.
I thought I was taking her home.
You seem so calm and relaxed.
I was ready to go home.
Shocked. I bet you haven't been this calm and relaxed at home though, have you?
Flipping out.
I totally didn't expect it to be 7 centimetres. That's amazing. It just goes to show sometimes women can come in and really look so calm and cool. She's 7. So I'm just going to go and tell everyone what's happening and then I'll come back and finish off with it.
Kaylee has spent the last couple of hours doing laps of the hospital in the hope of stimulating labour.
I think she just feels a bit deflated because you think, oh, I'm having pain. I've had pain since 11 o'clock last night and no baby yet. And when she had such a quick delivery with her second baby, I think she just thought she was established in labour when she came in, and she's just a bit gutted, really.
3 hours later, Kaylee is re-examined.
Fingers crossed. It's more or less the same as when I examined you 3 hours ago. So I think what I'll do is send you down to the ward and I'll take you off the monitor.
Okay.
All right?
Right.
You're going to come to the ward with me then? I'm taking her down to the ward because she is frightened to go home. Just basically, she knows we're here. She's got a cubicle on her own and she's got midwives around her.
With Leah's labour progressing, midwife Amy runs through her birth plan. Leah's determined to have a natural delivery with only gas and air for pain relief.
If you feel that the gas doesn't become enough, then the only other available options at the moment would be pethidine.